Okay, so the key component that was delivered as part of this sprint was in relation to the diary, and that's the means to be able to create a diary entry for another user. So we introduced a little while ago the option to be able to view other users' diaries if enabled via user permissions and settings. So that's an option here that can be introduced, and on the basis of you selecting the user, you can then view that person's diary. So as an example, we'll select that user there, and then we can view that person's diary. And obviously others can be selected as well in relation to their diary entries as well, and obviously it defaults to yourself. But the key update that's been made as part of this sprint is now when creating a diary entry, you'll have a user drop-down option that's been added. And that user drop-down option will contain a list of users based on your user group permissions as to whether or not you can create diary entries for them, but it will obviously contain the options there for you to create diary entries for those people. So if I just go through how this works from a user group permission level, and then we'll go through the workflow. So within the admin area, under user group permissions, go into that user group permission there, you'll see listed here, you've got an option for view user diaries within Teams, view all user diaries, create diaries against another user within Team, and create diaries against any user. So just to go through what these each mean, if you're in a situation where you want just a group of individuals, a team within the company to be able to view each other's diaries and create diary entries against each other's diaries, then there is an ability to limit access to diaries to be specific in relation to a team. So you would use that setting. If you wanted to just grant access to all user diaries, then you've obviously got a view all user diary option that's there. If you wanted to have it so that you can view the entries but you can't create them, then obviously you can set this to no access, but obviously this grants the ability to create diary entries against another user within your team. And then likewise, you've also got create diaries against any user within the team, so that's full access. And you've got the option of either no access or full access on these points. In terms of what's defined by a team, that's obviously on the basis of the team hierarchies that you've set up. So if your user is within a team in this structure, then you'll have access to the associated users within that team. And that's how it determines what users you have access to. But otherwise, you can obviously set it to have access to all users. An extra element to it as well, just to go down to a granular detail, is that you do have the means at a user level to define whether or not you're sharing out your diaries and tasks. So if you have a flat structure, you don't have a team structure, you just have a list of all users in the system under one root team, but you want to ensure, perhaps as a director, that you want to ensure that people don't have access to your diary, you've got a means for a single user to be able to be set so that you're not sharing the diary. And if so, that will kind of act as an override over any of the other settings we've gone through. But on the assumption that will be set to yes by default, by the way, but on assumption that you've set that's been set against the user, you've got user group permissions as access, you're going to see this setup here where you've got the ability to be able to view other users' diaries and the ability to be able to create diary entries on behalf of those other users. And if I just demonstrate this by selecting another user, if I say, we'll say test subject, we'll do it for the 9th of August, 12 o'clock till 1, a type of telephone, or better still, meeting. So that this will create this diary entry against this user. So if we hit save, obviously that's not gone into my diary, that's gone into this user's diary entry, and that's on the 9th. So you got that meeting there, test subject. So that's the key update that's been made in relation to the diary in this sprint.